we're living, boys. I think Briar's one of the undeniable best champions on this patch. And it actually starts from last patch where she got buffed to give her more health and armor and reduce her cost from 6% to 5%. I think she's one of the best junglers because Iron through Diamond, she's like 54% win rate just straight through it. And then at around Masters, she starts to pivot a little bit under and sometimes like really crazily low. And I think that's like partly because, you know, the lower sample size definitely matters in higher low where, you know, less games equals more percentages. But it is a really big point to say that there's a lot of people that think Briar is very easy or think that they can just pull off Briar with no practice. And those people are definitely dragging down the win percentage a good bit where, you know, the champion is very simple. And because of that, people think that they understand it. But then when you realize, like, wait, I can't play the game without my E, what the hell? And that can definitely cause some game-losing mistakes for some if you haven't already done it enough. So I think she's one of the best. If you consider that you probably need a few games to really learn her and learn her itemization and or your favorite build, because she has so many of them. But outside of just like builds and gameplay, hopefully this game can show you a little bit into the mind of what a Briar wants. So either you can use it against a Briar and they can utilize that as a reason to get better at the game. Those will call them the Briar babies. And then if you know, are someone that's looking for another champion on this patch, obviously Briar not getting nerfed after the buffs is a really good sign, because usually, you know, when someone's win rate gets a little bit better because of a buff, Riot sometimes has to give them like a little love tap in the wrong direction, and because of that, it is it's usually a good sign. If you get a buff and then don't get a nerf, it's like, okay, they might be, you know, dialing in on where this champion should be. But I'm working on this full clear here. I'm getting 4 camp invaded by a Ka. I'm not going to lie, I will say this is usually pretty bad gameplay, so despite it being annoying, I think it is justifiably bad, and because of that, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I think I'm just going to kill this guy real quick too. He has no W. I'm going to W towards him. He's going to flash, and we're going to enjoy that. Now, we could like hop over and just try and kill this guy, mess up his recall a little bit. That's definitely doable. If Ka's here, we might be in a bad spot, but I think we just take this kill and we're good. Now, I wouldn't always say you should go for a kill like that. There's actually a world that we get that kill without dying, and that's the world that we were playing for, but it didn't happen this time, and that's alright. Gonna swap out as much money as I can for Blade of the Ruined King. Blade of the Ruined King is definitely the build that I would say a lot of you guys should learn Briar on, because it gives you, you know, the ability to punish people in these bad spots without you having to hit like frame perfect auto attack resets and so on with Titanic, and it's just so much easier to pilot at first. And then when you get higher elo and you kind of figure out everything about Briar, then if you swap to Titanic, there's likely a good amount of variance in high elo that you can get rid of, where like if you don't know your exact kill points with Bork, just standing in front of a pro player AD carry can be enough for the job. Or you know, you figure out how to cycle camps, and then life is also really good for that too. But yeah, the main game plan that I go for is kind of what you're seeing right now. All I do is just spam full clear, but once enemy team gives me good tempo, then we start turning it up. So we start with a really humble game plan like this, and then the moment that, you know, the light switch is flicked, we turn up really fast. So that Kha'Zix gank, I would say, is a pretty good one for me. I kind of like where it leaves me. He hasn't recalled yet, so he's likely to recall to go to bot side, and I think I could, if I wanted to, go stand in his blue buff bush and then kill him for that. Or I can take another camp and start getting a little bit of vision work done to prep the dragon fight. Both are pretty decent. Seeing that my bot lane is recalling makes me want to confirm that that crab is down and then go for my Krugs and then walk in late with them. One of the main things that definitely can mess you up when you play Briar is just the fact that if you walk into the enemy team too many times or too up front, what they'll do is they'll mess with your aggro. Briar runs towards the closest person, so if they ping pong you left and right based off that, you can kind of get killed for free. So you need to see that situation coming beforehand and find it. And something like this usually ends up being like the good situation that you want to go for. We're going to chunk someone out. Now Kha'Zix is likely to engage on us, but we have our E, which gives us damage reduction. Let our team cook up some damage and then see what we can find here. So Kaz should be here soon. There we go. And this should be a pretty winning team fight for us, I'll say. See if I can pivot Jan into this. Not bad. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Oh my! Oh,
I've never seen anything like
my
this
team is
before.
locked. I don't even think we killed, but I like where her head's. I liked where her head was when it was on her body. But yeah, we are. I think we're doing pretty good. We have a good read on this game and the things that are happening. Now it's just figuring out how to like really abuse enemy team. Now Urgot is a tough champion sometimes because they're going to kill him. You have to have a good read on his E. Right now, I think he just doesn't have enough mana for E, so we're just going to take the kill and try and leave the way for my top laner. Don't want to mess that up too much. This actually looks like it might push to my Darius if he wants it to, which is even better. Not going to lie. Main thing that dictates that gank is just the fact that Urgot is trying really hard to get his wave under the turret because then it would go back to him. So that's when laners are pretty vulnerable. After 1v1, they go for, you know, getting the wave in, and you can usually find a good timer right then. Not bad. I mean, now we're kind of just in full clear mode until we have a reason to get off of it. Where, like, if the reality is that Ka's doing Dragon right now, that I would look for his topside camps, because likely if he was on Dragon, they would be up, and then I would go for grubs. And if I get the full clear and Dragon hasn't been taken in this spot, then I'm going to full clear, hopefully gank bot, and then see if the Dragon is doable. Sacking the grubs. Just kind of going for whichever one is, you know, more fair for me to get. More promised in the trade, if you will. Right, if he does one, I can do the other. Let's grab this, and we keep going. So him not being on this dragon by now likely means that he's been full clearing this whole time too. So I would guess that we're both going to be free and start fighting here soon. Now this is a point to start thinking about your money. So over 1,000 gold, you usually want to recall, but I'm so close to this recall being a full item that I want to stay on the map just long enough to make something of this. Doesn't look like she actually got that, so we're just going to ult. She's going to reflect this, come right back to me. I'm going to put her right in the wall. And then we're going to W, Q, and she doesn't know if she casts E, then she could start moving again, but you can't move until you cast her E after Briar ult. They're really making it seem like I need to be canceling this recall and playing for this. Even like likely from the start, but I didn't really like that play that much, to lie. God's right here. Bang. Nice. And again, this is that wave in thing that we were talking about earlier, where this stuff matters a lot. Now, Ka was recalling, or full clearing at the same time I was. I'm not going to go for this dragon, despite having the timer too. I'm going to recall to meet Kha'Zix at the grubs, because I have a feeling that that's where he's going. And given that I just got way more fed than him and got Bork, I should win the fight unless he gets like a really good invis on my W, or if I W too open-ended. But sometimes it's worth to like take the neutral that you're given, and sometimes it's worth to sack the timer on the neutral that you're given to stop them at theirs and then turn that into more. That makes sense to you. Because like once we see him start channeling recall, the odds of him canceling that recall go down. Because that would be inefficient, right? That's time that he's standing still not doing anything. And junglers do not like doing that. I'm going to late kill this so I can walk closer to top lane as I'm doing this. He starts to see the gank coming. He hasn't E'd yet, so that's fine. Right now, I would be tanking the Urgot ult than he would in Life is Good. And now, if you think about where Ka was, if we both were full clearing top down. Wow, really. Not bad flash. Don't believe he kills us, though. Nice. Good flash from him, actually. If my E hit, we would have performed Demon Combo, which is when you E, and that's a 1.5 second stun. It then puts him into a wall, and then you can cast your ultimate, which takes 1 second. And you basically do that so that you get True Sight from your ultimate. You get armor, magic resist, movement speed, and lifesteal. So it's the ultimate 1v1 spell in the game. So we would have just done that to him where we hit E, we stun him into the wall, deal a big chunk, and then follow that up with an ability that makes me unable to lose the 1v1. If he flashes that, then we counter flash and then wait for a top laner because the situation was already good for us. If Yone uses E forward here, he will immediately snap back, but we'll take a good chunk and then he could likely get dove by Vladimir solo. So it looks something like that. We can shoot a random ult here because Ka shouldn't be here. Immediate stun, W1, W2 to fully proc your PTA, but also do all of that during your Q stun. So it depends on how fast you can get those inputs out. You think that you're looking for something like that. Buffer E into every big damage combo from enemy team. Again, you have no reason not to just buffer E into their highest damage points. Now, Janna's trying to defend this. I heal a ton, and this is why Briar can be so good, is how much she heals. Because you go to play, through another play, to another play. It just happens so quick sometimes. Nice, we got that one. We actually aggroed onto her. If Ka's here, then we might trade, but overall, I should just kill them all here, no lie. And that's the Bork speaking. Not too worried about this one just yet. He's another invis, so Wing isn't that good. I'm really close to dying to him, but I'm really close to killing him. It just depends. I'm going to try and greed this and just imply that I can outplay it. Yep. I like what my team's doing here. They're actually trying to help me on this play. You usually will get left in a play like this. Not going to lie, but I like what they're doing. I didn't get the 50-50, but we do get to kill Ka, and that gives us tempo. Again, he's level 8. Winning a 50-50 isn't a game winner anymore. Vlad does have flash if things get too bad. I'm just going to try and hover, hiding the, stopping the Yone from looking here. Nice. Buffer your Q into the Yone so he can't just insta-snap back kill you. I'm going to take the recall here. And, yeah, that was good. Nice. Now, here I see Rift Herald spawning in a minute 25, so I'm going to try and draw a line to that through my camp. So going something like these 5, straight top, just to keep the efficiency running. Instead of doing 3 camps and then standing there doing nothing, just confirming, you know, your jungle pet and more farm for some real tangible gain, if you will. But yeah, hopefully this video is kind of helping you see, you know, just the idea of what I go for, right? I try and put my team in these winning situations where, you know, we get to all hit the person that I point and click stun, which reduces their armor and MR, and then we all can deal a bunch of damage. I use E during enemy team's biggest damage portion, so a lot of the time, like, high elo players to beat Briar will figure out how to separate their cooldowns a little bit more to not give me as good of a hit. And then, you know, once the time comes where we can just start walking around fighting everyone, we do that, right? I look to draw a line in my camps to go straight to the neutral, but it's not so linear to say that I only do that because, like, right there, right? Urgot was too close. We send it. He might not have ultimate. He might have Q3 for sure, though. We can try and catch him with that. He shouldn't have ult for, like, another 10, though. Good hit. Briar's gonna steer your cannon. Alright, good. Kha'Zix went bot side to my Krugs. That's a 1 camp gain at the cost of a neutral. I think that's very dead end of a play. Because we go 1 for 1 on the gank, right? I gank mid, he ganks bot. But we get the neutral off of Rift Herald, so definitely not that good for him. If I was him, I would try and likely have looked mid there. with my support. Got the neutral. This guy might have E by the time I get there. That'd be okay. We can body block his E with my Q and just chase him down. Briar's pretty good at stuff like this. Accidentally tapped my E, but that's okay. Don't think I need to Rift for this one. You could look ultimate to their team if you wanted to. So let's just send a fun one. Oh, I clicked the wrong key, but you can do this cool play where you do a fast combo and then you hop into the whip. Clear the wave. We haven't ulted yet, but it's fine. When the time comes, the time comes. Try and keep us close to him. He needs to have ultimate to stop me there. And this Rift Herald will come back. I actually meant to hit R to use my ult to mid, but I used 4 on accident. Kind of noob. Trying out some new keybinds here. So don't blame me too much for that one. Not bad. It all turned out pretty good. Again, man, just be ready to cook when you play this champion, okay? One of the biggest cooks is just hopping into the whip and driving that bitch straight through. Do what you gotta do. I'm gonna pick up a Sundered Sky. Sundered Sky is just an item, you know, when you think about itemization, obviously you can see like Steric's Gauge would be, you know, Standard Bruiser stuff would be your Tenacity. Death Stance would be your armor / anti-burst. Guardian Angel, when it gets good value, you would buy that. You know, Sundered Sky is just the generic, like, I want to do everything a Bruiser does a little bit better. So this game, right, I'm not really struggling in any department. So I'm just going to be good at everything that I'm already good at, or better at things that I'm already good at. That's kind of all I'm doing here. If there was a specific item that was calling out to me, like Serpent's Fang or like Spear Visage, maybe we could be preemptive about it, but you don't necessarily have to. Sundered Sky is a very good item. So like right here, Death Dance definitely looks pretty good, but that'll be plated steel caps. Then they have AP. I'll turn that into a Spear Visage, and then we have one more slot, which could be, you know, Guardian Angel for more armor and so on. So there's a lot of ways to itemize. It's up to you. Try and get the bot prio pre-dragon here. Might even go for another wave since I'm pretty strong. I feel like I could win most 1v1s here. He says Melkaz. That is not their name. So their whole team actually just saw me and would be converging, but their jungler's topside, so if anyone walks to this, they just die for their team for nothing. Again, standard case of Ka on the wrong side of the map. Don't really know why he's doing that, no lie. If I look for people to go into these chokes to try and look for like a really good angle. I think I'll get that kill and then live with a W over the wall, then E. I feel like Urgot's running towards me, so I'm going to be a little crazy with my movement here. Try and go to a really awkward spot. I have to really flash forward to try and get that Sundered Sky proc quickly. He's going to buffer his E. We're going to buffer our E as a counter E. Then go for some good damage here. Try and keep me up, team! Nice. Nice. My team kept me up. Shout out Jana. And again, man, you know, just to kind of paint the picture for you guys, for anyone that like, you know, might not understand again what I'm trying to do here. Again, I'm really just trying to, you know, run around, take some good fights. Again, Briar gets so much health that you can take these trades and often gain a little bit of health in the process. So you take these trades, you start winning with your health bar. And then you can turn that into another trade, into another one, into a different person, into a different person. God forbid you reach this point where now I can kill anyone, and it turns into like a really good spot. And you can see what happens with that. Bork did insanely good, and I guess since that was a little short, I can try and show you some cool stuff. Good job, team, though. This video had it all, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough to get those coherent thoughts out. Up 4,000 in jungle. Most damage taken, most CC'd. Pretty good standard rune page here. Nothing too crazy. And yeah, let me just show you some stats, and you can try and figure out some Briar stuff, ask some questions, do what you gotta do. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. So if you see Briar, right? 53, 53, 53. 53, 52, 52 if you round up, 51, and then it starts to drop down at Masters. So again, this is like a crazy champion. If you're real with yourself about your climb, you might realize that this champion is the sauce to go straight to Diamond. If that's where your goal is at, man, I would say lock the fuck in. You know, why do hard way? Do easy way. Work smarter. But, you know, there's a lot of love for champions and loyalty and so on, and that's completely fine with me. I do think it is important to, again, acknowledge, like, when you look at any Briar OTP that's getting Grandmasters or Challenger, the few that do, or even the Masters ones, a lot of their win rates are like 55% or more with Briar. You know, there's just, you know, depends on the patch or how many people are random trying Briar. There's a lot of reasons that would bring this down. Of course, like, if they were to all start from Iron and then go to Masters, then their win rate would be, like, super high because they're winning through lower elos. But most of the time, Briar OTPs are long-time Briar OTPs where it's not really like that. If you were to take, like, me, for example, right? So I'm usually a 60% win rate challenger in, you know, seasons before Season 16. This season, I swapped to mid-lane Briar, so it's even taking me, like, a little bit longer. But you can see, man, like, if you look, you know, at just my solo queue wins, right? 56% win rate, 55 total. And this is, I'm someone learning a whole new role, man. So Briar definitely has the sauce as someone that is always above, you know, Grandmasters. You definitely can make it work as an OTP. It's just trying to be a, you know, a already good player and then swapping to Briar. It's going to leave you with, you know, with some tough games where you got to really learn the champion. But, I can also talk to you guys a little bit about itemization. A lot of people get lost in Briar itemization. I know if you look at my YouTube videos, I play so many different other builds. You know, some of them are really cool for certain situations, and some of them are really cool just for you to break out whenever you're not feeling, you know, the standard cookie cutter, in my opinion. So you saw Bork by Cleaver there. If you look at Masters Plus, you'll see a lot more Titanic. That's just where Titanic starts getting more value. Where, like, when you're playing perfectly, Titanic can deal the same damage while also frontlining better and not having to worry about CC being a one-tap. But overall, Briar's one of the GOATs on this patch, man. You know, if you look at all ranks for jungle, she's second ranked out of all of them. And that's where this comes from. And, like, some people even speculate that why Rammus has such a good win rate is because it's the counter to Briar and low elo. High elo Briar's actually counter Rammus just with the way that the matchup plays, but overall, Briar's crazy, man. And here's her before the buffs. Let's look at something like this, where, like, she was still good, but now if she's not getting nerfed at, like, this rate, she's crazy. So I would likely urge you to give her a try. It's worth it. It's honestly an insane journey, right? There's a lot to it. Obviously, I played this game for 14 years, and she's only been out for 2 of them. Back in the day, I played every champion on Earth. She just happens to be the one that sticks with me because I always feel like I'm learning something, or, you know, because you have to think of these W's before they happen. You have to see the fight before it happens, and that's very fun for me. I feel very skilled when I do that well. So that's why I like playing this champion. Feet diff, it is what it is. Have a good one. Peace.